more claims for the Union Territory of Chandigarh, more demands from the Union Territory of Ladakh, and the changes in the citizenship rules in USA and it impacts on people, then the new changes to the FCRA rules in India and the new changes with respect to the overseas citizenship of Indian identity card. Myself, Manish Nambiar from Amrita IAS Academy, and today we will be discussing about what happened with respect to the subject Indian Polity and Governance for the past 1 week. Welcome to the new episode of our weekly current affairs by Amrita IAS Academy. Let us now look into the details of what happened around the world and specifically with respect to the subject Indian Polity in the last 1 week. The first and the most important news which we have to discuss today is with respect to the increasing demand for the Union Territory of Chandigarh. You all know that Chandigarh is one of the Union Territories in India which is directly coming under the Union government, obviously. But at the same time, you also know that Chandigarh is a capital city which is shared by 2 states in India. It is Punjab and Haryana. The Punjabi speaking the state of Punjab and Hindi speaking dominant the state of Haryana. Now, recently, the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh also had made some extra claims with respect to the Union Territory of the Chandigarh, and that increased curiosity in me. Why Himachal Pradesh is bringing in new demands? So, I think you also are in a curious state to understand what Himachal Pradesh also wants with respect to the Union Territory of Chandigarh. So, this particular news which you can see right now, it came in the Hindu newspaper and it explains how the Union Territory of Chandigarh was formed, what are the demands of Punjab, what are the demands of Haryana, what are the demands of Himachal Pradesh, and understanding these things will get you a proper idea on what is happening and what has been guaranteed and so on and so on. So, before understanding the recent demands and the recent issues, first we should know what happened in India and what happened during the process of states reorganization, specifically with respect to the Union Territory of Chandigarh. Starting with, after the independence of India and after the creation of the constitution and the creation of the first schedule in Indian constitution, if you look at the states Punjab, then Himachal Pradesh and also PEPSU. So, PEPSU is the short form for Patiala and East Punjab States Union. So, current day Punjab's few territorial regions in the eastern part, those unions were together known as PEPSU. So, after 1947 and after the creation of the constitution, 3 territories were mainly existing and which we are about to discuss with respect to Chandigarh. Punjab was a type 1 state, okay, category 1 state. We know that there were 4 parts of state, part A, part B, part C. So, Punjab was a part A state, PEPSU was a part B state and Himachal Pradesh was a part C state. I know that you have already studied these things, or if you are new to it, I will just briefly explain to you. In British India, the territories were administered in different manners. One was directly under the Viceroy, Governor General, and like the state provinces like the state of Madras. There were few other provinces which were administered by the princely states, known as the princely states, administered by the dynasties for the majesty or whoever is administering the UK. So, for example, Travancore, Cochin. So, those territories were known as the princely states. Then we have a next type of category, and those third type of category is known as Chief Commissioners Provinces. Just like our current day Union Territories, these are the another type of provinces. And the fourth category was the Andaman Nicobar. It was the jail which was being used by prison, which was being used by Britishers. So, when India became republic and when we created the constitution, states in India was broadly 4 types, part A, B, C and D. So, now you look at the looking at the situation which we want to discuss with respect to Chandigarh, the state of Punjab was a part A state, PEPSU was part B and Himachal Pradesh was a part C state. That was the situation of India back then. Now, when in 1956, through the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act and also the States Reorganization Act, through this process, linguistic states were created in India. states were divided on the basis of language. Say for example, as you already know, the state of Kerala has been created by bifurcating some parts of the state of Madras, because Kerala was a Malayalam speaking population. So in 1956, the state of Punjab was created by uniting the previous Part A Punjab state and Part B Pepsu. So these two, Punjab and Pepsu, were united together to form a larger state of Punjab. So that happened in 1956. Then Himachal Pradesh, which was previously a Part C state, was made into a union territory. Okay, so Himachal Pradesh became a union territory in 1956 through the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, and through the States Reorganization Act, Punjab, which was a Part A state previously, and Pepsu, which was a Part B state previously, were combined together to form the larger state of Punjab. So that happened in 1956. So at that time, when this partition happened, some guarantees were made to the state of Himachal Pradesh, and that was that when the territory of Chandigarh, in the territory of Chandigarh, 7.19% ownership rights were guaranteed to the union territory of Himachal Pradesh, which means that, say for example, if the union territory of Chandigarh is making 100 crore rupees per year, 7.19 crore rupees should be given to Himachal Pradesh. That was the agreement which was made, but it was never fulfilled. The money has not been transferred to Himachal Pradesh, but such a guarantee was made by the union government. Okay, so 1956, the state of Punjab and the union territory of Himachal Pradesh was formed, and a guarantee was given, that is 7.19% of the resources of Chandigarh should be given to Himachal Pradesh. Then later, in 1966, in the year 1966, the larger state of Punjab was bifurcated into two: the Punjabi speaking state of Punjab and Hindi speaking state of Haryana. A proper linguistic state division happened at that place in 1966 alone, not in 1956. So based on the speaking language, major speaking language, two states were created, and then for them as a common capital, the union territory of Chandigarh was created. So Chandigarh was made into a common capital for both the states of Punjab and Haryana, and it was created as a union territory, and that happened in 1966, reorganization of the state of Punjab. Then what happened was that Chandigarh was actually guaranteed to the state of Punjab alone, not to Haryana. But initially, during the process of bifurcation of Punjab and Haryana, what happened? The union government had no other option but to create a common capital for both of them. But because of this reason, and also due to some other reasons with respect to the center-state relation, the protest and violence in the state of Punjab increased. People of Punjab wanted Chandigarh exclusively for themselves. And parallelly, that was the time period when the extremism was high in the state of Punjab. So demanding Chandigarh became one of the demands of that extremist. So what happened? As part of the violence from the extremist, they included this particular reason also. So as to contain the violence, what happened? First, Indira Gandhi government proposed a formula. Okay, Indira Gandhi government said that yes, Chandigarh will be given to whom? To Punjab. So that happened in 1970. When Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, she made a guarantee that is known as Indira Gandhi proposal. So through the Indira Gandhi proposal, Chandigarh was guaranteed to the state of Punjab. And as a proposal of that particular matter, some compensation will be given to the state of Haryana. That was the proposal back then. But it did not take off. What will happen? What do you think will happen? The protest again erupted. The protest became violent. And you know, eventually, Indira Gandhi was assassinated. And you know how these things are connected. So this is also one of the reasons why the assassination happened. And the issue heightened. And then later, during the administration of Rajiv Gandhi government, when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, in 1985, an agreement called Rajiv Longowal Accord was signed. This was between the extremist in Punjab and the Prime Minister of India. And as part of this agreement, it was decided that on 26th of January 1986, that is the 1985 the accord was signed, the next year Republic Day, on 26th of January 1986, Chandigarh will be transferred to Punjab. That was the agreement. And also for the state of Haryana to create a new capital, either compensation will be given or new place will be bought by the central government. That was the agreement which happened between the Union Government of India and the state governments of Punjab and Haryana. But still, you know, even after signing this particular legal document, it is an accord, it was a legal document, it was signed back in 1985. Even after, say, like how many years? 41 years. This has not been happening. So each and every time, whenever there is an election in the state of Punjab or whenever there is an election in the state of Haryana, and also, you know, Himachal Pradesh guarantee is also pending, the 7.19% transfer. So whenever there is an election in any of these three states, this issue will resurface. And now what happened? In the next 8 months, upcoming within 8 months, election will be happening in the state of Punjab. Imagine what will happen. Now they have started the demand. We need Chandigarh exclusively for us. Hearing that, Himachal Pradesh said, yes, then we need the guarantee which was guaranteed to us back in 1956. Give us the 7.19% which you have guaranteed already. So the issues are happening again. And let's see what will happen. And according to the trends and the political trends which are ongoing, there are high chances that Chandigarh will be transferred to the state of Punjab so that some political equations can be met. So let us wait and see what will happen. So this is which is currently happening with respect to the state of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and mainly the Union Territory of Chandigarh. Now, besides polity, from art and culture, you can study something with respect to Chandigarh. Chandigarh is the first planned city in India, and it was designed based on the architectural specificalities put forward by an architect known as Le Corbusier. I think he is a French architect. You can refer on that. So based on that aspect, the modern Indian architecture and art and culture, you can specifically look in that manner and have a short note on that. I won't be discussing it as part of our polity, but that is an extra work for you. Okay, so that's it with respect to the Union Territory of Chandigarh and the current issues with respect to increasing demands for them. Next, we need to look into the new demands and the ongoing protest with respect to the Union Territory of Ladakh. So before going on to the details of what I am supposed to discuss, let me tell you something. Ladakh is a Union Territory of India, and you know, and it was made a Union Territory in 2019, August 5th. So previously, the Union Territory of Ladakh was part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So it was part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It was a district. Ladakh and Leh were districts in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They were bifurcated using the powers under Article 3 of the Constitution, and the Parliament of India created Union Territory of Ladakh. And this Union Territory is a Union Territory without legislative assembly. Whereas you know that the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has a legislative assembly, and last year the elections happened and there is a chief minister and council of ministers. So since then, since 2019, the people of Ladakh and the activists in Ladakh like Sonam Wangchuk, you might be knowing about Sonam Wangchuk, whose character was replicated in the movie Three Idiots. So they were demanding for statehood and more autonomy for the Union Territory of Ladakh. And initially, after this process of bifurcation, Ladakh was guaranteed more autonomy by the center. Even after 7 years, since they were not given anything extra, they have entered into new methods of protest, both peaceful and violent. Last year, we witnessed some violent protest in the Union Territory of Ladakh. And since then, discussions have been ongoing between the civil society organizations in Ladakh, Union Government of India, and some high-powered committee appointed by the Union Government, and also we have some autonomous district councils in Leh, Ladakh and all. So, if you look at this news, I believe it is visible to you properly. The meetings are currently ongoing between the high-powered committee, which is appointed by the Union Government, then the Leh Apex Body, and the Kargil Democratic Alliance. These are some organizations which are in the discussions. So, discussions have been ongoing between them, and recently, and this particular news came in last week. And in the last week's meeting, one thing was finalized. Both the center and all the parties agreed unanimously again by saying that Ladakh will be given statehood in the future. So this was a guarantee which was not present before. Now the union government had accepted that in future Ladakh would be made into a state. That is a big thing to happen. Okay. So now let me ask you, currently Ladakh is a union territory. What should be done if we want to convert it into a state? Answer is simple. Use Article 3 of the Constitution and make changes to it as a state in India. Now, this committee and the people who were discussing had also made something clear. Statehood is the ultimate demand. It is the long-term demand, which we might be acquiring maybe in 3 years or 5 years. Likewise, we will be attaining in a long term. But immediately, as a short-term demand, we need some special status. So that was discussed and agreed in this high-level meeting between the representatives of the union government and representatives of the Union Territory of Ladakh. So a sui generis model, this term came in the news, that's why I am highlighting it. Sui generis model for Ladakh as under Article 371 will be created. See, this particular term, sui generis, is a simple term, no need to worry much. It means a unique, a one single identity or maybe one unique identity. That is the meaning of the term sui generis. So a unique mode of administration, an autonomous administration will be given to the Union Territory of Ladakh and in the manner of Article 371. So you know that previously we had Article 370 for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and currently we have Articles 371 and then Articles 371A to, I think it is 371J. A to J, we have special status given to different states in India. So now the proposal had came and now it is being said that Union Territory of Ladakh will be given some special status in lines of those states which has special status. Now we can look at what are or which all are the states which are given the special status under Article 371 and the articles about nearby that. So Article 371 is with respect to the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat. See, this happened when through the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, when the state of Maharashtra and Gujarat were created out of the state of Bombay, they were given some guarantees. And if you look at the state of Maharashtra, the eastern part, that is the Vidarbha region, it is a region with high levels of poverty, very low agricultural productivity, very low economic activity. So the governor of the state of the state of Maharashtra was given some extra powers to allocate some additional fund to work more for the development of the region. Similarly, in Gujarat also, the Saurashtra region and some internal parts of Gujarat, the development is comparatively lesser. So the governor was given more powers to work more for the development of those regions. So that was Article 371. Now with respect to Article 371, we have some special provisions for the state of Nagaland. 371B is with respect to Assam. 371C with respect to Manipur. Then 371D is the one which is dealing with the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Previously it was only Andhra Pradesh. Then later in 2014, when the state was bifurcated into Andhra and Telangana, Article 371D has also been amended. Then Article 371E is with respect to establishment of a central university for Andhra Pradesh, a special additional provision. Now 371F is with respect to Sikkim, 371G is for Mizoram, and 371H is for Arunachal Pradesh. Then we have 371I, which is for Goa, and the last one is for the state of Karnataka. So currently there are 11 states in India with some additional special status, and I know you know what is the term which we need to use: asymmetric federalism. So Article 371 and the articles like 371A to 371J is facilitating for asymmetric federalism. Now, based on the news which we discussed previously, what were we discussing previously? The Union Territory of Ladakh will be given a special status, which means in future, based on what we have read, we can expect Article 371K, which will be dealing with the special status for Union Territory of Ladakh. Let's see what will happen in the future. Now the next question: how can the Union government give a special status to a state in India? The answer is simple. Use Article 368, make an amendment to the Constitution, and then create special status. If they want to create special status in lines of Article 371, this is what they have to do. Otherwise, if they want to give some extra financial resources or maybe any other schemes, then a constitutional amendment is not at all necessary. Okay, so if they want to create a special status based on these lines, which we already have seen, then there is a need for a constitutional amendment act. So that's it with respect to the demand of the Union Territory of Ladakh and their demands for more autonomy. Now, let us look into the things which are happening in USA. Last week, there was a judgment by the Supreme Court of United States of America. So the Supreme Court of, as you see in the slide, the Supreme Court of USA scrapped an order, a citizenship order which was passed by President Donald Trump. So you might be wondering, why are we discussing about something which happened in USA with respect to the topic of, when the topic of discussion was Indian polity? The thing is simple. When something happens around the world and something happens around the world which is similar to Indian system, we need to study about what happened there. In the mains topic under GS2, in polity, there is a topic comparison of Indian constitutional scheme with that of other nations. So this is an important topic and there are high chances that this question might come for this year's mains itself. So let us compare and understand what happened there and how different we are or how similar our processes are. So to understand about this particular judgment and what was done by the President Trump, let us look at the timeline about how things happened. So in 1868, see, we are going back to the history. So in 1868, through the 14th Constitutional Amendment Act, see, this is not our Constitutional Amendment Act, obviously, it is the Amendment Act of the USA's Constitution. So through the 14th Constitutional Amendment Act of USA, they added a provision known as the principle of jus soli. So it is nothing but right of soil. I will explain what is meant by that. So this principle says that a person who is born on the soil of USA, which means anyone who is born in the territory of USA. Soil means that is a concept, territory. So anyone, irrespective of the nationality of their parents, if they are born in the territory of USA, they have the birthright. They have the birthright to citizenship. So that is the idea behind jus soli. So they have the birthright to US citizenship if they are born in the territory of USA. So this is the idea behind the 14th Amendment Act, one of the provisions of 14th Amendment Act of 1868. So this was the concept of citizenship by birth in USA, which means, see, for me, I am an Indian citizen. So in future, if not in future, say for example, if we were in 2025 and if me and my wife are traveling to USA, and what if my wife is pregnant, and in case if my wife gives birth in the territory of USA, the child which are born to us, even though we are Indians, the child will be eligible for US citizenship. That was the concept behind the principles of jus soli. But what used to happen? People used to misuse this provision, mostly illegal immigrants used to misuse this provision, and there were different schemes or different ways in which they used to attain this citizenship. One was taking student visa or work visa or tourist visa, and in these manners they will travel to USA, and either in the flight or when they land in USA they will give birth to the child, and the child will automatically become a citizen of USA. And since the mother is necessary for the child to grow, the mother will be accommodated along with the child, and likewise they used to misuse that provision. That was one thing, and that is infamously known as citizenship tourism. I will discuss that in the next slide. And there was another thing mostly used by illegal immigrants who cannot afford this visa process. What they used to do is that they used to migrate from the Southern America. I think if you have seen the movie Comrade in America, one of the movies of Dulquer Salman, ഇത് നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാകും. ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് മെക്സിക്കോയിൽ നിന്നൊക്കെ they will migrate to USA. But when they reach the territory of USA, what happens? When you look at the physical territory, what happens is that huge walls are built there. so it is difficult for them to travel. So there are some agents in the territories of Mexico who will take people through ship through the Gulf of Mexico. Ship and boats, people will be taken, and in that boat, when they enter the territorial waters, as you can see in the slide, this is the territorial waters of USA. So when the people enter the territorial waters of USA, the woman will give birth to the child. I know how dangerous, how dangerous this can happen. So they are ready to go to that extent and give birth in ships and boats when they are in the territorial waters of USA. And when they are in the territorial waters of USA, and since the child is born in the territorial waters, it is considered as birth on USA territory. So the child will be getting the USA citizenship. So these things used to happen along with some other genuine actors too. So last year in 2025, few reports came, birth tourism. Okay, it was referred to as expecting mothers traveling to the United States to obtain US citizenship for their children. It was discussed in detail, and as a consequence of these discussions and all, President Trump declared an executive order in 2025 and said that two situations, I will discuss what these two situations are. In two situations, even if a child is born in territory of the USA, that child will not be given citizenship of USA. Okay, previously anyone who was born on the territory of USA will be getting the US citizenship, but now through the presidential order of 2025, two situations were exempted from the eligibility for US citizenship by birth. So now let us look into what these situations are. In both situations, if the father is non-citizen, that is common in both situations. If the father is non-citizen. Now the next situation with respect to mother. If mother is illegal immigrant, so that was the first condition. So first condition says that if a child is born in territory of the USA, they will check whether the father is a citizen. If the father is a non-citizen, they will check whether the mother is a citizen. And if the mother is an illegal immigrant while the father is a non-citizen, then the child is not eligible for citizenship of USA. First condition. Second condition, if father is a non-citizen and if the mother is on legal migration but of temporary nature. Say for example, if the father is a non-citizen of USA and if the mother arrived in USA in a student visa or a work visa or a tourist visa, in that case also the child is not eligible for the US citizenship. So that was the change which was made by the President Trump's presidential order in 2025. It happened in January 2025. Now the Supreme Court of USA said that these two conditions are unconstitutional. The decision made by the President Trump to exclude people from the jus soli principle is unconstitutional, which means now things are back to what were created through the 14th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1868 in USA. I hope the things are clear to you. Now we need to know how this particular thing should be compared to Indian citizenship. In India also, we have a concept known as citizenship by birth. This concept is guaranteed under the Citizenship Act of 1955. So through the Citizenship Act of 1955, we are defining who is a citizen by birth. So according to the Citizenship Act of 1955, we have three categories which are specified. First category of people are those who are born in India after 26th of January 1950 and before 1st of July 1987. So if a person who was born in India, in the territory of India, within 26th of January 1950 and before 1st of July 1987, for that person to be eligible for to become a citizen by birth, the condition is nothing but birth in India, which means irrespective of the nationality of the parents of that particular child, a person who was born in India after 26th of January 1950, before 1st of July 1987, the person is eligible for citizenship by birth. So birth in India was the only condition. Now coming to the second category, that is people who were born after 1st of July 1987 but before 3rd of December 2004, people like me. So for people like me to get eligibility, to be eligible to become a citizen of India by birth, first condition is obviously birth in the territory of India. Second condition says that either parent should be an Indian. That is the second condition. So for a person who was born in Indian territory after 1st of July 1987 but before 3rd December 2004, condition is that either parent should be Indian and also the person should have been born in India. Now, any person who is born in the territory of India after 3rd December 2004 to get eligible to become a citizen of India through the process of birth, the condition is that first condition, both parents should be Indian. That is one condition. If both parents of a child are Indian and if the child is born in the territory of India, then the child is eligible to be a citizen of India through the process of birth. Now there is another condition, or the second condition says that one parent is Indian and other parent is not an illegal immigrant. That is, if a child is born to an Indian, okay, one parent is Indian, but the second parent is a foreigner, then also the child will be eligible for citizenship by birth. Only condition is that that foreigner parent should have arrived in India in a legal visa. That's all. But if the parent was an illegal immigrant, then the child is not eligible for getting citizenship by the process of birth. I hope I made myself clear. Now let us compare the citizenship process by birth in USA and India currently. In USA, if a person is born on the territory of USA, irrespective of the nationality of the parents, that particular child is eligible for citizenship by birth. Whereas in India, now in 2026, if a child is born in the territory of India, there are two conditions. Either both the parents should be Indians. Otherwise, if one parent is Indian and if another parent is foreigner, the condition is that the parent who is a foreigner should not be an illegal immigrant. Only then the child will be eligible for citizenship by birth in India. I hope you got the difference between citizenship by birth in India and USA. Now, looking at the last detail which we want to discuss for the day, one of the most important details with respect to Indian polity which happened in the last week. That is, the Home Minister launched a new FCRA portal and it is known as FCRA 2.0 and E-OCI card. This is related to citizenship, but it was issued by the Home Minister itself. So we need to know what happened to the FCRA rules now and what is the new portal about, and also we need to discuss about E-OCI card. So without wasting much time, we will look into what are the details. So the new FCRA rule says that when an NGO is registering, or when an organization, NGO or with any organization, why should they register under FCRA? They are registering under FCRA so that they can receive foreign funds. ഇവർക്ക് വിദേശത്ത് നിന്ന് ഫണ്ട്സ് കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഇവർ FCRA രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ നടത്തുന്നത്. Okay, so the new rule says that when an organization is registering under FCRA for receiving foreign funds, they need to specify their activity. They need to specify whether it is for religious purposes. They need to specify whether it is for environmental protection. They need to specify whether it is for educational purposes. That is mandatory. Previously, the organization was not responsible to tell what they wanted to do. So that was the condition previously, but they need to specify what they are about to do. Now the next one, funds cannot be used for proselytization. This might be a new term to you. Proselytization. This is a simple term. You already know what is the concept, but this new term is new to you. The thing is that most of the FCRA funds are used in two manners. One is for religious organizations, one is for secular organizations. See, secular organizations are those organizations which focus on environmental degradation and protection, child rights, prevention of child abuse, prevention of domestic violence. Those are the secular activities, and religious organizations are those which focus on charitable institutions, palliative care, then yoga, meditation. Those are such organizations. Okay, so now the new FCRA rule says that when the funds are being given for organizations, it can be used for secular organization, no issue. It also can be used for religious organization, there are no restriction. But when a religious organization is receiving foreign funds, now it is being categorized into two activities. One activity is proselytization and others. Others include activities like worship, infrastructure, administration, etc. So for these things you may utilize your fund, no restriction. Okay, proselytization is the process which is known as religious conversion. So now you know what is meant by that. So religious conversion is not constitutional in India, even though under Article 25 an individual is given the right to change a religion or profess a religion. Conversion was not permitted. Forceful conversions are unconstitutional. So now the FCRA rule says that a religious organization which is receiving foreign fund cannot utilize that fund for religious conversions. So this is prohibited and all other utilizations are permitted. Now another condition, if any of the functionaries of the organization, see, functionaries are those who are the office bearers like president, secretary, treasurer, likewise people who are managing these things. So if any of the key functionaries are non-citizens of India, then that organization will not get registration under the FCRA rules. That is the condition. Now another rule, at least 75% of the received donations have to be exhausted before receiving new funds. Say for example, if I have an organization which is receiving foreign funds, and say for example last year I got 10 crore rupees. So this year also someone is ready to give me 10 crore more rupees. But the new FCRA rule says that before accepting this new 10 crore rupees, complete the utilization of at least 7.5 crore rupees. That is the 75% of the amount which I have received previously. Only after utilization of that amount I can go for the new receiving of the funds. Now they have to mandatorily disclose their activities, they have to mandatorily disclose their social media pages, all these things are to be mandatorily disclosed to the public. Then there is a creation of new digital platform, that is the FCRA 2.0 platform. It is nothing but digitization of the FCRA process. Both the applicant and the government can come together in the digital means so that corruption can be reduced, the processes can be eased, ease of governance, e-governance and etc. So that is the new rules with respect to the FCRA. Now with respect to the E-OCI card, you already know what is meant by OCI. It is nothing but overseas citizen of India. See, overseas citizen of India doesn't mean that person is Indian citizen. This is an identity card which is given to people of Indian origin and people of Indian background, but who are currently foreign nationals. Say for example, after migrating from India to Canada or USA, people might take the citizenship of that nation. But to retain their connections with our homeland, the government of India, the central government, gives those citizens OCI card, overseas citizen of India, and through this card they can come to India, visit India without any visa. So visa free entry is permitted and few other rights are also given to them. So recently the Home Ministry issued the E-OCI card, and it is nothing but a digital card, simple thing, nothing more. Previously it was a physical identity card. So since it is a digital identity card, it will be easy for them to handle them, easy to store, easy to utilize, and whenever they need an upgradation they can do it through the online portal. So to make the process easier and to accommodate and integrate the technology with the management of the foreigners and foreign Indian citizens, OCI card is now being issued as E-OCI card. That's all, simple thing. So these are the most important things which happened in the last 1 week with respect to the subject Indian polity. So understand these things properly, and few more things are fuming up in the background, but nothing conclusive have happened in the last week. That's why such topics have been skipped for the time being, and I hope that those things will come to a conclusion in this particular week and we will be discussing more about that. So I hope you like the video. Study these things, understand the relevance of these things properly, and revise it and connect it with what you have studied already. And from today onwards, with respect to these classes, the notes will be provided to you online itself. If you look at the link below, you can see the link to a Telegram channel, that is Amrita IAS Telegram channel. In that channel, the notes for this particular slide is also provided, so that your process of preparation can be made easier. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Amrita IAS Academy.